Hello from Dublin!
Wrong one.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Newsflash, asshole! I've been hearing it the entire goddamn time!
And you are very welcome back to the West of Waterford podcast. Second show of 2021. My name is Josh. On the couch beside me, I have Brittany.
Hi, yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a week.
No, I mean like as in seeing you and talking to you.
Well, yeah, it has.
Because 2 nights ago, you went out after work, straight after work, to hang out with the lads.
Yes.
And I didn't see you until later that night. I was quite tired at that point. And then last night, you came home after work and went straight to bed like some grumpy bear going into hibernation.
Yeah, I was tired. I was very tired and a little bit down, I guess you could say. I was just, yeah. I didn't really feel like company, shall we say. I just wanted my own company. And don't take that in any uncertain terms. But that was just my evening. It's how I felt. It's how I wanted to spend it, and I'm happy I did because now I feel like I have the actual energy to do something like this again. Which actually has is kind of playing into what I wanted to talk about because this is the second show of 2021, and we are just edging on February, coming into it. Just
edging.
Just edging onto the old month of February, which of course is going to mark what's that now? 2 years since the last time I was in Ireland.
Oh, yes.
Is it 2 years now?
The last time I brought you there.
You brought me there, okay.
I did.
All right.
Oh,
okay,
come on,
like
please.
I wouldn't have a choice to go there.
I got the tickets.
Well, okay, fair enough. Yes, you did actually.
Making that happen.
Yeah, and actually,
And then when we got there, why did you come at this time of year? This is the worst time of the year.
ah, come on.
It's like, who fucking cares? We're here.
And just out of the gates, Brittany breaks the swearing barrier.
Oh.
Usually, I'm the one to look out for that, but there you are. And no, nobody was saying that except my father said that to me. Yeah. And you know what? No, he has a point. Ireland is a little bit of a dreary place in the winter. In fact, you used to do nothing but bitch about it the whole time we lived there. Why do you like it here? It rains. It does nothing but it rains. And then it's sunny for 2 minutes. I take off my coat and then it rains again.
I don't think I
This
ever
is
spoke
terrible.
like that.
I want to go back to Arizona. Okay, Brittany, I'll bring you back to Arizona.
not
Bring
even-
me to the sun.
You really, like,
just hit my
in
mic.
accurately describing, you actually go the opposite direction.
Well, whatever. I mean,
Never believe a word that Josh says.
that is
That's not
very untrue. I'm a very trustworthy person. Look outside right now. I guarantee you it's raining. If you're anywhere
If
but Phoenix.
anything, I
Anywhere
said.
but
If
Phoenix.
anything, I said more things along the line of. First of all, us moving to Arizona was never my idea.
Yeah,
I
it was
never
my idea. I'll
proposed
put
it
my
to
hands
you.
up for that.
And
You
also,
didn't even propose proposing to me. I proposed to you. I do everything around here.
Well, okay.
The only thing you propose is that I clean out the cat's litter box, and you know I really should get around to that.
Yeah.
Oof. Actually, you know what? Close that door. I'm starting to
It's
teasing.
wafting in here.
Teasing, of course.
Light a candle.
No,
We'll be talking about candles later.
We'll get into candles later, but I
if-
do want to get into, of course, a little.
All right. Well, I won't. It's fine.
Yeah, no, it is fine
No one
because
cares what my thoughts were while I lived over there. You just
we
like to
don't,
go.
no, we don't. Because I do. No, because I want to touch on the part is that it's been 2 years,
Yes.
and the big reason that we didn't have any episodes coming out. If you're a new listener, if you're an old listener, whatever, and if you're a new listener, welcome. Please listen to us. We need the views.
And if you're deaf, just go along with it.
Yeah, I suppose. God, even if you're blind, I mean, you can't find that subscribe button or unsubscribe button fast enough. It's like, where is it? I don't know. But no, I think there was a big gap there because I was quite literally. I love doing this. When I'm doing this and I'm behind the mic here, like I am, and I'm watching all these waveforms and I'm looking at you giving me dead-eyed stares, and I see our marriage flushing away in your eyes. I am loving myself.
My blue eyes.
I am loving myself when I'm doing this. I have so much fun doing it.
myself.
I am loving myself. I'm not quite.
He's not wearing pants, folks.
I'm not quite Jeffrey Toobin.
Maybe touching himself.
I'm not quite Jeffrey Toobin, but I am loving what I am doing. And the last 2 months over the Christmas break, I was having. How many shows did we actually plan in that 2 months? In that 2 months, we must have planned at least 8 or 9 shows.
No.
Easily.
We didn't plan.
No, we planned every week. Every week you would come to me, when are we doing an episode? And I would kind of look at you and be,
Yeah, at least
Friday, Thursday, something like that. I had no clear plan of when I wanted to do it. And then when the days would come up, I would quite literally, I would look at all the equipment here. I'd look at the screen, I'd look at the mixer, everything. And I would think to myself, God, that looks like work. And I don't want to do it if it's going to be work, because I'm working. I work a full-time job. And so do you. But I was looking at all this, and I was just thinking to myself, I don't want to do it. But I want to do it. I love this. Why? And I think it all came to a head.
A red flag of a little bit of depression, yeah.
Depression, yeah. I think
you don't want to do something that you like.
Anxiety.
That you would normally like to do.
Depression, anxiety. This is an easy thing to do. Realistically speaking, this is very easy to do. No, a lot of it, well, it's easy for me. It's not easy for you, and you don't make it easy for me. So, I mean, I guess...
Hey, that's not what I was saying.
Oh, turned into an Italian over here. Hey, oh. No.
I didn't mean it that way.
I know what you mean. I know what you didn't mean. But
I was kind of, I don't know, I was about to make some joke about like, oh yeah, it should be easy. We're married. We got chemistry, right? Like, but this is only time.
All right, we won't discuss that.
I was trying to develop a joke. I wasn't trying to make a joke right there.
Oh, boo. Anyway.
But anyway.
For me, yeah.
Please let me just jump off and abandon that ship or whatever I'm trying to ramble about.
Thank you very much. Allows me to play the old car crash.
Oh,
my car crash, how I've missed you. But anyway,
God.
Because we didn't have the soundboard in the last episode, but I digress. So it came to a head. Brittany had a friend come over. She will remain unnamed. We will call her Man.
Man?
It's part of her name. And that really... Moran. Aman? Dadan.
Josh,
Dana.
Okay, that's stupid.
Her name is
Dana.
Her name is
not
Dana.
even part of her name either.
Whatever. It is.
If you drop a couple...
yes, it's a part of her name.
The
Okay.
only female name with a man in is Amanda. And it's not Amanda, so...
Oh shit, it wasn't Amanda. Oh, sorry, Amanda. I mistook you for somebody else with a very similar name. And Amanda does listen to this sometimes. And well, she's getting a shot. She's been a guest on the previous format. Actually, I'd like to get her on again.
I'm so hesitant about having guests because for some reason I love it when we have guests because that's truly when it's effortless. I love guest episodes, but yeah, there's a little like pre-show jitters a little bit because you just like kind of. You feel like you have it's less predictable, but it's more fun. You can kind of sit back. There's more people available to talk and discuss and kind of provides you a little bit of an audience and somebody there.
But anyway,
but no, what I was gonna say was
you have no clue, do
lost
you?
my no, because when we have guests, our views are so low. And it just goes to show, oh my gosh, they didn't have a good time. They didn't share this with their friends.
Okay, so there's your anxiety speaking.
Yes.
Wonderful.
I'm like, they must have not thought it went well, or they must have been too embarrassed. They weren't happy with how they did. So that's just my anxiety around, not anxiety, but that's
now,
kind of
you do realize when I was speaking about a guest, I actually meant a house guest. What I was speaking about. So we had a house guest.
You talk about guests on the... You talking about Amanda being a guest on the podcast?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about my realization. It was a sidetrack thing.
Okay,
it wasn't something to spin off into orbit.
Shifts back into house guests.
Listen,
from
Michael Collins,
guests.
do me a favor. Keep circling the moon there and let me walk the moon, shall we?
Sorry, go ahead. I'm a little chatty.
Oh, chatty catty. Well, anyway, it all came to a head. I think my realization of the anxiety was because Brittany actually confronted me about something because of my, shall we say, not so graceful behavior when we had a house guest over, her good friend, and her friend said, I think he's homesick.
Yeah.
And I want to get to know the real Josh, and I don't want to know this Irish version of himself that seems to come out when he's had a few drinks. I guess that's kind of the way it went, and Brittany confronted me about this, and it hit me. It just hit me. Yeah, I am homesick. It's actually a thing. And I've been penting it up for so goddamn long at this point. It's been so pent up in me that yes, when I drink, I really become more Irish than I'd ever present myself in regular life. Even on this podcast, I feel like my whole life is becoming a persona. I was having a talk with a good friend down on the bar, and she said to me, like, you're living a lie. And I was like, kind of feels that way because when you confronted me about it, and it wasn't any kind of mad blow up or anything. I was actually really happy you did, because
we just discussed things, yeah.
Because it opened my eyes, and it came back, and it hurt. It really hurt.
Well, it came from a place of love and concern, and
of course, yeah,
all
but
that
it
kind of involved.
But
with
me, it really, really hurt, because then I realized, oh my God, I've been repressing my Irishness. I really have. Except here, there, in little spurts. People ask me all the time, are you Irish? And it's like, Irish American. I'm very, very, very dutiful about tacking on the fact that I'm an American citizen. I was born in this country. I love this country. But Irishness has always been a bit an afterthought to me. I have, people will always ask me, oh, what's Ireland like? You know, and it's like, and I'm always like dismissive. And I say, oh, it's beautiful to visit. I wouldn't recommend living there. And you think about things like that, and I grew up there for 25 years. 25 years of my life. It made really who I am. And here I am talking it down about a country that really, in my heart, I love.
You never talked it down.
I've talked it down. I have. And
I mean,
I will fully admit that. I will put my
normal.
hand up, and I will admit that I have talked Ireland down. I've talked my home county down, to the point where I've even tried to, like, quash my Waterford accent.
You have this funny thing about you, though, where you claim that you get annoyed that you're Irish in America.
Oh, right.
You're an Irish lad in America because it just gets so... And I understand that, having lived, in Ireland for 4 years, and then having people be like, where are you from? Why are you here? Blah, blah, blah. And then, like,
oh
me getting that repeatedly.
From Australia?
Especially when I first started working. I mean, yeah, I never got, like, that people not being able to gauge my accent. They either automatically thought American, or if they wanted to try and guess where I was from, they'd, like, say either you're American or Canadian.
Yeah.
So...
But that's a usual guess.
And then I remember the...
I'm from Canada, eh? Hey, I'll be your friend. Why are you doing that? Why is that knife coming out, eh, friend? Come on, buddy, don't stab me. I'm sorry I put you through this.
The fuck are you?
How the hell do you not know you're not Canadian? Canadians are. I can spot a Canadian.
There's enough Canadians that like don't have a, hey buddy, like kind of accent.
Well, I mean that was the worst attempt at the Canadian. Hey buddy, yeah, you over there,
eh? I was saying with the A. Don't you know the old joke about how do they name Canada?
C, eh?
Yeah, they put letters in a hat. And, yeah.
Yeah, but they put letters in a hat.
Letters in a hat, and they pulled out the letters C A N A D A.
Oh, so similar joke, just different. Yours just involved a bad magic trick.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll remember when there's this. I remember when there's this sweet old Irish lady who saw me walking down this. What?
Oh, never mind.
Irish lady was walking down the sidewalk and
saw me modern times.
Was going into the... I don't know what the fuck I said, sorry. Sometimes my speech slurs a little bit. I'm trying to work on it.
Come on, man.
Anyways, I was walking to Sintra, and she started chatting with me, making some joke about, oh, you trade with me, like trade her car for my bike, because I cycled up.
All right.
And then she heard my accent, and she starts talking, she's like, where are you from? And I'm like, oh, I'm from Arizona in the States. And she's like, yeah, I was going to say, because... And I just said I was from the States. She's like, well, you don't have, like, an American accent. Like, as far as, like, you're definitely not from New York or Boston. And she's
I said that about you the first time I met you.
She kind of pinpoint. I'm like, oh, well, I'm from Arizona. It's non-regional sounding accent. If anything, I get if anything over here, I get, which is really only from you. Or it sounds like I could be from the South. But usually I have more of a, there is kind of a division between West and East.
Yes, yeah.
Unless you're from, like, and I'm just talking about, like, normal speech. Yeah. Not anything that's, like, specifically, oh, you must be from Boston, New York, or from the South. There's pockets that are just kind of, we talk a little, we don't have any distinct accent. Yeah. But there is a different split between how we pronounce some things between just general East Coast and West Coast. Mm-hmm. So... Well,
I mean, that was a big thing about my accent.
But yeah, it did get annoying, so I can sympathize with that.
Mm-hmm.
The whole...
So, like, I mean, the thing about my accent is, I mean, one of my good friends... I mean, one of my best friends over here, obviously, is Johnny. And he knows about me pretty much off the bat. He's like, for Waterford... And he's from Cork. I mean, you've heard him on this show before. You've heard his dulcet tones talking in a deep Cork accent. And it's very, very, very obvious. It's very obvious where he's from. and he holds that very, very close to his heart, and it really distinguishes him. Meanwhile, I turn up and I'm a Waterford lad, and he says, of course, Cork is like right beside Waterford, we're neighbouring counties, and he says to me, you know, for a Waterford lad, you don't really have a Waterford accent.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what do you mean? Well, you sound like more North Dublin, to be honest with you. And I'm like, oh, all right. And I was okay with that because I actually do like the North Dublin accent. I like that inner city accent. A lot of people in Ireland say, oh, it's a horrible accent. It's horrible.
People from where?
Just anywhere else in Ireland.
Nah.
But I've always liked the North Dublin accent. I really like that working class roughness of an accent.
Well, that would be southern. That'd be
Northern
you're
Dublin.
Right. I'm thinking.
No, I'm not talking about Belfast.
South Dublin is the more posh.
Hello, my friends. Yes, let's go out on the lash tonight, buddies.
For a moment, I got that flipped in my head. I was thinking South Dublin was the working class, and then North Dublin.
No.
I just had that flipped in my head.
Yeah, the North-South divide is by the Liffey, of course. But
Yeah.
I mean, the thing was that I don't have anything really. Maybe unless you're from Waterford, and like, I mean, you know, maybe I just don't sound like it. I don't know. I found myself just relaxing my voice and the way I talk more recently, and I find maybe I am kind of coming out more of a natural accent. But I've always found that anytime I've heard any hint of pure Waterford in my voice, I would try and quash it, and I'd try to add a little bit of an American thing in there, a little bit of a twang, you know, make myself sound a little more interesting.
Stop.
You know, or you know, hi, I'm Troy McClure, that kind of thing. I'd like to dismiss Your Honor, you know, kind of thing.
And that does come across as artificial. So that's why for the longest time I called you like my Cary Grant, because if anybody knows who Cary Grant is,
I'm sure people know who Cary Grant is. If anybody out there knows a Cary Grant, his mother is looking for him. He's lost.
To be fair, very few millennials would probably be aware. Okay.
I would think anybody our age is more likely to know who Cary Grant is, because millennials love hipster bullshit.
Anyway, moving on.
Really, moving on.
Don't need to really get an argument about that.
I'm not getting into an argument or anything. I'm just saying that I finally discovered this is my my resolve, I guess. This is just me.
They might know who he is, but they don't exactly know what he sounds like.
Nobody cares about Cary Grant.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to just get out that I've had a very hard time recently. Honestly, I had a very, very hard time. It was affecting everything in my life. It's down to homesickness now. I started realizing that, especially when I started kind of tearing up to Irish music. Listen to Irish music and starting to tear up. I never liked Irish music before, realistically. I liked a few things here and there when I was growing up. I had a friend on Facebook, Jenny Cosgrove, known her since we were like knee-high to grasshoppers. In fact, she was the girl I accidentally gave a black eye to before, because the one time I threw a tennis ball really, really well, I hit her straight in the face with it. And yeah, I remember that. But she asked me, like, because I put up as a joke on Facebook, like, you know, about this upcoming episode. And I said, like, you know, be sure to listen to the next episode, because this is why I want to get a few things off my chest. And I actually want you to ask me a few questions about it, Britt, to be honest with you. Because, I mean, I just want to get it off my chest, because it feels good to get it out into an open forum like this. To an extent, you, the cat, and whoever listens, but it feels good to get it out. And but she asked me, like, have you? Well, yeah, because I put like the list of episodes up on, and I was like, be sure. And until then, you know, here's our channel. Go through it at your own leisure. And if you don't want to do that, here's Enya. Here's the best of Enya. And Jenny was like, have you always liked Enya? And I was like, and I thought about it, and I was like, yeah. I've always liked Enya. I've always heard Enya when I was young, and I always
now,
liked.
For those of you who don't know who Enya is.
Oh, here we go. Look, go back to Cary Grant. That was more interesting. And Enya's Irish. No, but yeah, no. I mean, I've found myself listening to a lot of Enya recently, because I love that wall of sound of like that kind of, and it's very. I mean, you asked me. I was playing Enya song when we walked in.
Yeah.
It's symphonic, and you were like, "Is Enya Irish?" And I was going to think to myself,
"No, I just
with a name like that, where would she be from?" And then I thought about, I thought about it. Actually, yeah, like a name like that, she could be from anywhere, really, couldn't she? She's from Donegal.
It was more about, and it was more about just I knew it, but I just wanted. I'm like, India is Irish, and I said it just like that. And then and I asked you where she was from, and you said from Donegal. And I only met one person from Donegal when I lived over in Ireland.
Yeah.
And I do remember like somebody else from Dublin area. I was like, oh, Donegal. It's like the accent's like the most class in Ireland.
Yeah, so they say.
Donegal.
Or so you say.
No, I mean, that was one little person's opinion, but.
But anyway,
what do you think of the Donegal accent?
I wouldn't. I
don't know it
I
well
don't know
enough?
it well enough. No, I mean, I used to summer a lot. Well, summer a lot. Like, it's like I'm in Southampton on Long Island.
Yeah.
No.
So I had my little boat shoes and sweater strapped around my shoulders.
Like a Kennedy. No, I mean, like I used to like spend summers or parts of summers in Sligo, which is basically beside Donegal.
Yeah.
So I imagine the Sligo accent, the Donegal accent aren't too far off. If you want to hear a represent, I mean,
I think they are. I think they are different.
how many Sligo people have you met?
Just from what I've heard of the Sligo
No,
accent.
well, how many
and what I've
Sligo
heard-
people have you met? You know, you've met a few.
Okay, I've heard, yes, and I've heard.
You've met
and
a
I
few
wouldn't
because
say
you've met
they're-
my freaking
I'm
family.
just saying, I wouldn't say they're the same. I'd say there is, and you know for yourself, accents change when you just cross a river or when you just
This is
like
true.
cross over a street.
Same in Cork.
Same in Cork.
Same in Cork, boy.
Oh, I know.
Go to the north side. Remember that fella you couldn't understand food? You couldn't understand the word you were saying. No, lad, you're langer. Oh, you live in the place.
All
It's like,
right.
yeah, that's wonderful.
Anything else you need to say about?
No, that's it. Basically, I
No,
just want to
it's
say to anybody in Ireland that I do love Ireland. I love my hometown.
Well, that's
I love
always been
I love
clear.
my hometown of Waterford. I love my other hometown of Tremor. Deisha Abu, as you would say. And I do miss it. I miss it terribly, and I really, really want to get over and visit as soon as I can. Except for these stupid COVID restrictions, I'd be over there now. As for going, and by the way, Dad, as for going over in February, you all have always known I prefer wintertime in
I do
Ireland.
too.
I've never really summer's nice, but I mean, I always found summer to be boring, and it meant you worked a lot. And you know, I love the winter. Because I grew up playing football, and the football season was in the winter, and there was nothing I wouldn't love doing is throwing yourself around in the mud. It was always great fun. Now, anyway, we're gonna move. I mean,
No,
do you
okay.
have any questions?
Well,
I mean, are you curious about anything I've just said there? Because I mean, that is actually
because-
a huge amount off my chest. There's actually more I would talk about, but I mean,
We should probably
we have a show to do here.
shift on.
We have a show to do here.
Oh,
so.
I know you can talk about yourself for hours.
And thank you for
Anyway,
listening, by the way. Thank you for listening. I really, really appreciate
Not
you.
really sure
Give
what
you
that-
people a round of applause. You're
what
a
the
wonderful
head and
audience.
tail of that whole thing was, but so you're talking about being homesick, and I want to talk a little bit about. So you're homesick, and I'm working from homesick.
Huh?
You're homesick, and I'm working from homesick.
Okay.
As
and
in, you don't really realize. I mean, yeah, there's pros and cons to working from home, and it is an adjustment, and it is a little bit of it's isolating, and all those things that people realize. But one thing that's really, the one thing about it is you don't really realize how much quote unquote self-care, how much you do it for other people, not for yourself. Like basic things like changing your clothes, brushing your teeth.
what the hell
Why
are
do
you talking about?
What? You don't realize how much you do those for other people. You're less likely to get dressed in the morning.
No, I
or
understand
brush
that,
your
but I mean,
teeth,
like-
or brush your hair because you don't have to see anybody.
But I would venture that most people would do that anyway. I brush my teeth for oral care, not for other people. I change my clothes because I feel ratty if I'm wearing the same sweat-drenched garb I woke up
See,
in.
I'm just trying to make a tongue-in-cheek, witty remark, but then you turn it into a debate.
No, I'm just kind of being literal about it, I guess.
Don't be literal about it. I'm just saying you don't realize how much some of those things you do for other people. So
Well, call me devil's advocate then.
You're always a devil's advocate. Come on,
course.
just roll with me for a second here. Don't do.
I'm
yes,
sorry, honey, you're not big enough to roll with.
Work on being yes and instead of but wait.
Did you say a yes man?
Yes and.
Oh,
like
no.
the classic thing of improv, like yes and instead you're just like but wait no.
Okay.
So I was just trying to make
I understand
some commentary on...
I understand the working from
That's
home
it,
thing.
but anyway.
I understand that, but I mean, like, you do miss going to work. You miss going to, like, getting out and commuting with the rat race, and you miss, like, getting into the workplace. And today's gonna be another great day. Where's my coffee?
And you know what the other thing is?
You mean like me?
Just being presentable and like having to be presentable in front of people.
Well, yeah.
Another thing I realized is that while exploring this thought is that you don't really count as people anymore, which I'm really sorry about that, because apparently if I can feel freely enough to not brush my teeth or shower for a few days,
which explains a lot, actually,
or gleefully, not just freely but gleefully fart in you no longer become a
God.
You stop being a person when you lose that bit of social. When I lose social decorum, do you realize that?
Yeah, you kind of turn into an animal.
You're not as much. No, I'm just talking about people in general. Your other person doesn't really become like quote unquote people, in the sense that you don't behave the way you do around other people around your person.
This is, I think, yeah. I mean, okay, yeah. Some people.
So you don't.
I understand that, but I can't take this into account for me personally. You're talking to the wrong guy to ask go rolling with you. What you need is a snarling beast man sitting beside you, one who doesn't care about anything. It's like, don't you agree? He agrees with me. He's a good boy. He hasn't showered in 6 weeks, and he hasn't brushed his teeth in 8. And it's like, I get it. There are people out there like that. I have met them, 100%.
I don't think you're following.
No, I follow.
Or getting the intricacies of what I'm saying
here. It's not
here.
intricate. It's just, I understand it. And yeah, kind of, you're right in a lot of ways. I just can't relate to it, I guess.
Can you never just kind of laugh instead of interjecting like, well, I have to say this about this because...
Well, I'm talking to you, not an audience right
honestly,
now. You brought this up. Yeah, I'm talking to you about it.
Sometimes it's such a pain to just like make a joke to you.
No, well, you know what? It's not fun for somebody to sit there and listen to two people going, oh, yes, I agree with that. Oh, yes, I agreed with that. And meanwhile, they're thinking, I don't agree with any of this.
It's not about agreeing or disagreeing. I'm just
kind of
making some commentary. Dear God, you are difficult to just...
No, I'm not.
Do whatever the fuck I was trying
to do. Like your father would say, my dear, I am very easy to get along with, my dear.
Anyway, moving on. Can we just move into Pressing the Presses? Because that...
No, Pressing the Presses is after your bit now.
Took a fucking dive off the deep end.
It took a dive off the deep end. Oh my goodness, you are unbelievably
I was just trying to have some
dramatic
remarks about stuff, and you're just like, let's turn this into a debate and a discussion.
No, I had a few interjections to make, and I understood where you were coming from. I just don't relate to it. I mean, I do on a certain level.
Never mind. Okay, you're not following. Okay, moving on.
I did follow. Thank you very much.
No, I don't think you did, because your response was like weird, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
go
don't
ahead.
know either,
Sorry for throwing you off.
Throwing me off. Okay, give up. Jesus.
I just wasn't expecting that kind of response when I was just making.
I wasn't expecting. I was trying to lay my heart out, and you were talking about Cary Grant.
I was just what?
Exactly.
Because I was talking about your accent, how you kind of fabricate your voice, and that's what Cary Grant is. Cary Grant
made sense,
has a phony transatlantic accent, and nobody understands where he developed that accent. That's kind of like you.
Over the Atlantic.
Was the
very
point.
Obvious. It's in the name, transatlantic.
But
he was on an airplane and developed an accent. He had 5.5 hours to do it. Or actually, back in those days, 6. You know what? He probably came by ship. Now that I think about it. See, again, I'm getting very literal about it. Anyway, we're going to move on to a bit here called Brits Bits, and please enjoy
I thought we were doing Pressing the Presses.
No, Brits Bits comes first. I just told you that 2 minutes ago. Brits Bits comes first, so Brittany has prepared something for us.
God, that was exhausting.
Well, you're going to get more exhausted because, this is Brits' time to shine. Brittany, please, if you wouldn't mind, do your bit. And yeah, I should move your notes along here. What is it this time?
Welcome to Brits Bits, the potpourri part of the program where I get to talk about whatever the hell I want.
As long as it's sanctioned by me.
Alright, well, excuse me if I don't move very swiftly through this next part, because I have been sitting on this little story here to share with you for the last couple of months, 2 months or so. Mm-hmm. And what I want to talk about is a little gem I found on my recommendation feed of YouTube, and it was the strange world of Breather-ism.
What now?
Breather-ism.
Is that from being a Bavarian?
Breatharian
Oh.
is a person
Breatharian.
who claims to nourish themselves on air and light rather than food, solid or liquid.
I'm thinking of a word.
Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis.
Works well when you're a plant. I can't imagine works well when you're a person.
Yeah, so I really don't think a human being can go stand out in the sunlight in a puddle of water or while it's raining and get the nutrition that they need. We don't have what's called chlorophyll. We cannot undergo photosynthesis, so this is ridiculous.
Okay.
First of all.
Well, it sounds ridiculous. I mean, wait. So explain to me exactly how they nourish. They nourish themselves as though they are quite literally a plant.
They claim it's a claim of some sort of health and wellness that you can nourish yourself off of air and sunlight.
I mean, okay, you can partially nourish yourself off of air and sunlight. I mean, you kind of need both, but
Oh yeah, you need, like, obviously,
Yeah.
but plants have things inside of them that we don't have in
yeah,
ourselves.
chlorophyll, photosynthesis. I mean, they literally create food from the sun.
Sunlight, yes, exactly.
Humans don't create food
So as
for
a woman of
themselves from the sunlight.
science, I claim bullshit on this, obviously.
Well, obviously.
Now,
well, yeah, it sounds like hell.
So I found this is called the Strange World of Breather-ism.
All right.
Through a channel called Astro City Guide. Check it out. But basically, I'm going to break down just a little highlights from it's. I think it's over an hour long, so
You broke down
you might
some
not want
highlights
to. You might not want to watch the whole thing. So let's just talk about it here.
Well-
in 2013, a woman who went by Navina Shine. Actually don't have written down what her real name was. Anyway, that's what she went by online, and it was called Living on Light. And she documented her attempt on YouTube and live streamed some of it for 44 days. And so, yes, her attempt was to do just that, to practice Breather-ism of not ingesting any solid or liquid foods. I can't remember if there was if she was drinking water either. Maybe at some
44
point.
days?
Yeah, she tried to not eat solid foods for 44 days.
Did she drink water? Do you know if sure?
I think she might have had some tea or like lemon water, maybe.
Okay.
Because there are different levels to it, and we'll
Some
get into that.
in 44, but okay, yeah.
So she did. She continued this for 44 days.
Jesus.
It was obviously people were seeing it, and people flagged it for suicide and self-injury.
Yeah.
And we're getting on to her. But then she was, on the other hand, she was encouraged by other fellow mysticisms.
You mean the
and things
voices in her head?
No, like
The
people
mystical
that people
voices
that
in
were
her head.
people that like buy into this. Her claims and reason for the experiment was that it was it could be the greatest discovery of mankind, and the end of world hunger and symbiosis with the planet. It would be spectacular if we could realize that we could live from just from prana, from the air and light of this universe.
I think the greatest discovery in mankind's history was realizing that none of this was the way to go, and the fact we would eat solids and ingest liquids and would prolong our lives. If we went by this, we'd be gone by now. There would be no humans left. I mean, so if this is a great science, don't you think at some point in history, I'm just thinking at the very, very beginning, thinking like, well, that didn't work. He's dead. Let's try this other radical method. Oh, there it is. Greatest discovery in mankind's history. You go out, you find the cave cat, you club it to death, and you eat it. And suddenly, we're growing up big and strong. They really think that this would be a scientific discovery?
I mean, you don't have to research this to know that it's already debunked, basically.
It was debunked by cavemen.
Exactly.
It's still there was this, and then there was fire, and then there was the wheel.
Honestly, one of the greatest discoveries was discovering fire. So we could cook our food.
How do we live? Well, let's not stand around in the sun getting burnt, meanwhile our ankles are getting wet. Gee, that doesn't sound crazy. Let's go out and kill cave cats. Why am I calling them cave cats? Because I'm thinking they're cavemen. I'm angry. My blood... Let me go out and... I'll tell you what. Let me go out and stand in the moonlight for a month and see what that does to me. I won't last a month. I'll be dead. Dead. Anyway.
All right,
Got that out. Brittany.
Her journey did finally come to an end, and I do want you... She didn't die or anything.
Oh.
She brought the experiment to an end,
Jesus,
so I
why
want
was
you
I
to
happy with
play...
that?
Can you please play the first clip?
All right, let's see
Honestly,
what...
I find this woman kind of sweet and endearing a little
Well,
bit. Just listen to her.
let's see if I agree or not. This first clip is brought
Clip
to you
1.
by Brits Bits.
And there are a lot of people who genuinely are concerned for safety and genuinely don't think it's possible and believe it to be dangerous. Now that I've seen all that feedback, I am really seeing that it is totally dangerous.
No
On
shit.
June 16th, 44 days after she began, Navina announced she would be ending her attempt to live on light.
I am choosing
Oh.
to stop the experiment now because even if it's true, it would be a mistake to put that out as if it's
Let it keep
easy,
going.
as if it's real, as if it's
Is there a way I can pause
On
this?
her website, she wrote, "From the feedback I am getting, it is becoming patently clear that most of the world is by no means ready to receive the information I am attempting to produce. Even if it were true that a person can live on light and I were successful in demonstrating that, I see now that it would be synonymous with giving a loaded shotgun to a baby."
Wow. By the way, she's probably
Basically, she's
26
like,
in this,
the
and
world
she
isn't ready for this.
no, the world
it's
has moved
dangerous
on
for me
in
to-
spite of this.
But I love
That is. By the way,
Okay,
giving a
can-
loaded
can I make
shotgun
one-
to a loaded shotgun to a baby. Have you pulled the trigger of a shotgun recently? I don't think a baby's going to be able to pull the trigger on a shotgun. And by the way, a baby is much smaller than a shotgun. Even her analogy is
Okay, you're
shit.
being literal.
No, even her analogy is shit.
No, you're being too literal. Anyway,
She stopped the experiment because she was going to die.
okay, yes. Okay.
Thank you.
No,
Okay.
okay, yes,
All I
we
need-
can agree with that.
Just needed
But
to know
let me
that.
continue. So, I realize now, listening to that again, since it's been a while, I realize why I find her so charming and endearing. It's because she sounds like fucking Julie Andrews.
She looks like a mole person, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
I have
she's
never,
not.
for somebody
That's
who
true.
stands in sun, I have never seen a more oatmeal complexion on a woman. My grandmother,
That's great, actually.
my grandmother, in the throes of her illness,
Throes of passionate lovemaking.
No,
The
Jesus
throes.
Christ.
When I think of throes, I think of sex.
We're ending that. No, in the throes of her illness. The last time
know
I
it
saw
can be
her,
used
2 years
differently,
ago,
but
this
that's what
February,
I
by the way.
think.
The last time I saw her, looked healthier than this woman.
Wait, what?
My grandmother is was at least 20 years older than this
When
woman.
did she pass away?
No, I last saw her 2 years ago this February.
Oh, yeah,
She'll be
gotcha.
gone 2 years this August, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
But
Anyway, go ahead.
she looked more healthy than this woman. And this woman's been doing nothing but rolling around in puddles and standing in the sun, probably naked. Just, and then she sits here and has the balls to tell us that the world is just not ready for this.
Well, yeah, okay, she's doing...
I just stopped because it was a choice. You stopped because you were going to die, you shriveled old oatmeal paste bat.
Lively commentary, Josh, as always. Thank
You're
you for that.
damn right.
But yes, another factor,
what you do these for, right?
the real factor, is she was receiving very few donations. It was a donation platform.
scam
and
wasn't
she
working.
needed to finally go back to work to pay her bills.
Oh my
okay?
God, her scam wasn't working.
Yes, exactly.
So she's a double piece of shit.
And that's kind of what this is all centered around, because this is like quasi-mysticism, stuff that you kind of saw, hippy-dippy shit, like...
Oh my God,
like,
yes.
what do you call it? Oh, fuck, I don't... yeah, that kind of stuff. Mysticism is what it's
Mysticism,
called.
yeah. It's the voices in your head saying, you can do this.
Like that new age stuff, that
God is
like
on
stuff
your
that you see, like
side.
people like shop owners in Sedona, basically.
Does thou desire?
Well, that's just saying.
Well, I mean, Satan is mystic, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's quite the mystic fella. I see a second clip here. Can we move on to the
No, we
second
don't
one?
be on the second clip yet, honey, because I will be totally taking things out of context as we go down.
Alright.
Okay, so let me just break down a little timeline here. So we have really who brought it to the forefront in the 90s, along with, like, we were talking about that quasi-mysticism phenomenon.
Ugh.
And that new age kind of hocus pocus, was Ellen Grieve, aka she went by Jasmuhing,
Wait,
some
what?
made-up Indian name that she gave herself.
Oh no!
And she and that's kind of where the term, like, prana came to be known. And there's actually a clothing brand named Prana.
Piranha. I thought you meant piranha. Sorry, I misheard. I misheard you. Well, may as well be after
of
this.
society. So prana, which means breath, life force, the divine force
Yeah, sure
from within. So all this kind of stuff, this Breatharian claims kind of claim to be date back to thousands of years to ancient yogis. There's not really a lot of documentation, like yogis in
Ancient
India.
Yogi Berras.
No Yogi Berras. So
Seems like a good day to steal
it's
some
tied
sun
in
rays.
with, like, yoga and things like that. Anyway, or they want to try and put it in that same wheel. You probably weren't familiar. Are you familiar with the program 60 Minutes? Was that on something similar, like, over in
Yeah, the
Ireland?
show I wish was 60 seconds. I wish it was just an intro and over.
Anyway, 60 Minutes. It's a snappy little intro with that little, although it's kind of like anxiety riddling with the stopwatch. 60 minutes.
Yeah.
You don't remember the intro? Anyway.
I know.
Her experiment ended in her time in the spotlight because 60 Minutes did an experiment, filmed it, and that's when it kind of she kind of exposed herself in that way that she was a fraud.
Basically, she's like a magician who. Do you remember that? Like, there was a time magicians were told to come on a TV show, and it's like, if you can do this through magic, you win money.
No.
And unless they could convincingly do something in front of, like, an expert, they would, like, get nothing, and their careers would be destroyed. And every time, they would just destroy their careers. It was like, I am psychic.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to, but I kind of know what you're going
Yeah,
at.
basically it's this. I mean,
Yeah, it's just exposing people for their lies. So,
what a goddamn scam.
So, I'm not sure exactly how she was, but yeah, it continues. Anyway, so the term Breather-ism was coined in 1972 by a guy named Dick Gregory. He made this cookbook. It was kind of more along that line about more like healthy eating and like eating natural. So that did actually still consider like eating solid foods, but for some reason he termed the whatever. We'll move on to a more interesting guy. 1981, founded and popularized and swiftly discredited, was Wiley Brooks.
Wait, wow. Wiley Brooks?
Yeah, his name was Wiley Brooks.
Was he a Warner Brothers creation?
And he stopped eating to start living. He was called out on his claims of not eating he claimed on a television program called That's Incredible in the 80s that he had not eaten for 17 years.
I call bullshit.
And then he like has quotes like you'll see some quotes later on that are really funny.
Oh my
One of
God.
his quotes is, "Food is more addictive than heroin." And he said that like it's mind over matter. He basically said that the Belfast hunger strikes, they didn't die from not food. They died. They just died because they wanted to.
No.
He made-
No. The Belfast hunger strikers died because they weren't eating. They died. I want to make this perfectly clear. They didn't die in protest and want to die. You don't just sit there and think, I want to die now. Go and die simply through pure will of thought. You die because you are malnourished. You get sick. And the conditions those guys are in, that is one of the most insulting fucking things I've ever heard in my life. That is incredibly insulting. And it also means Margaret Thatcher did nothing wrong, which I vehemently oppose. I mean, she did a lot of things right, but that was a huge no-no on her part. She was wrong with that one for sure. They wanted to die. No. They wanted their political agenda to be upheld. They didn't want to die. They were willing to die first, but I don't think they wanted to die. You Bavarian Dick Gregory. Dick, what a... Oh, wait, no, sorry, Wiley. Wiley Brooks. You even sound like a scam artist. Wiley Brooks. Who trusts somebody named Wiley?
Hey, fella, you can trust me. My name is Wiley.
Ah, you seem like an up-and-up feller. No, you don't. Is this to do with this clip? Scroll down a little more.
No, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't put any other notes of when to play clips, but now that I kind of looked over your shoulder to see... So can you scroll
Yes.
down a little bit? We'll just play out the clips after I go through these extra notes. So you would think that like by the end of the 90s, or I thought it maybe ended in the 90s, but actually I was shocked to see that this movement or this thought or this
bowel movement,
Breather-ism, this ism, is actually still something very strongly seen today.
Really?
I mean, not like mainstream. Like,
well, you know what? I mean,
like,
that doesn't surprise me.
But it's still profiting today.
Of course.
So, like, in 2010, there was a documentary called "In the Beginning There Was Light," and it covers some of the people involved with this, like somebody in India claiming they didn't eat for 70 years, and then like even in 2020, it's bigger than ever. Like as in like it's making money, it's bringing people in, it's bringing a lot of interest. So there's there has been the Pranic World Festival, which started in 2016 and has had run 4 years in a row. They're like, you can find TED like youth talks about this.
Oh my God.
And
going after the children, basically.
The worst is there's this I call them the Pranic power couple. Their name is Akahi and Kamala.
Of course.
And they make these really, really expensive like retreats for people, and they're like, it's very well known that's like they have these strict programs, but like they're not following it.
Are these the same people who suntan their assholes to gather power from the sun?
Probably very similar.
You saw that
people,
on like
right?
TikTok
yes, I
or
do.
whatever.
Yes,
yeah.
I do remember that.
God, Jesus.
But so we can play a couple of things. So I think the first clip I have there is the second clip is forget about reptilians. We have amphibians among us. So play that next clip.
All right, let's have a look and see what
this is talking about the different levels of pranic nourishment. So go ahead.
Different level. Okay, a Scientologist.
Or claims that while they don't drink, they are capable of absorbing the humidity in the air through their skin.
No, you're not.
They actually, their pores of their skin open up by breathing. They usually live in a place that is humid.
Indonesian level 4 Victor Truviano, who claims to have not eaten since 2007, is so revered that people line up to stare into his face for 30 seconds.
Wait, what? Yeah, exactly.
They stare into his face for 30 seconds.
Because it's just so enlightening to meet such a mystical being.
These people should be struck by lightning. Not. Did he just say something, by the way, that is completely biologically impossible?
Yes, once again.
Open their pores to let in.
Not only are people have the capabilities of being a plant undergoing photosynthesis, they also have the capability of amphibians, where they have porous skin to be able to absorb things and moisture. That's what amphibians are able to do.
That is biologically impossible for a human to do.
That'd be really dangerous you realize how like if you own like a frog or something, you have to be very careful with what they're exposed to.
Kind of humidity level, yeah. Otherwise it's just going to kind of like blow up, I guess.
No, I mean, but they can also receive toxins like through their skin really easily too, because it's permeable.
And by the way, that's why they live. These people are flat earthers. They have the same credibility as flat earthers, and you know what? They don't deserve to be on this planet either. Breather-ism.
Just rolls off the tongue. But
we created this back in the 70s to get rid of the Holocaust ideas.
I got news for you, Josh. We're actually, by discussing this, and you that are listening, you're actually a level one of Breather-ism.
I want to get away from this.
Because you are now aware of pranic nourishment. Level 2 is where I've started to experience the path of pranic nourishment through a process or naturally. Level 3, so that might mean like you're still taking in some solid and liquid foods. Then level 3 is I manifest the pranic state and only occasionally consume solid or liquids.
Okay. So
state has to be stable for at least 4 months.
So basically you can become a level 1 because some dickhead walks up to you and just says, have you heard of pranic nourishment? And you could quite literally say, well, I have now. Hey, well done. You're a level 1.
All right. Before we move on through the... What do I have next?
We have Wiley, and he's loving it.
Yeah. Wiley what?
Wiley, and I assume this is...
I'm loving it. So, okay, going back to Wiley Brooks, this is great. This is like another quote or like something pulled from something that he said.
All right.
Because he was called out for he was
Being a psychopath.
No, he was saw sneaking like junk food. Like he loved junk food. He'd go like to the 7-Eleven. He was caught doing that like very early on, like in the 80s when he kind of came out and saying, I don't eat anything. So go ahead. He is still part of Breather-ism, actually. Even though he was discredited earlier, he has a faction of it, I guess, where he kind of claims. And he's more talking about, I guess, like, well, just go ahead and play the clip.
Well,
the next
just before we do move on to the next clip, can I just say about this clip, there is not one fuckable person in that entire audience. They are all... The closest I can see is the girl in the red dress back there, but her arms look like any application of any pressure will crush them. And she'll just end up looking like that thing from Under the Skin. With
Oh,
and, but there is not one fuckable person among them. And I especially hate this asshole over here wearing the shitty straw fedora.
Also, I guess we can post in the description the Vibby clips so that people can watch them too.
We can do that. And let's move on to Wiley and he loving it, apparently.
Wiley Brooks never fully recovered from being exposed. Although rather than continue to deny his penchant for fast food, his strategy in recent years has been to write it into his doctrine. According to his website, the gateway to the breatharian lifestyle now includes the type of food he was caught eating decades ago. Don't eat anything but the McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese and a Diet Coke, Wiley warns. No water of any kind, no fruits or vegetables of any kind. McDonald's restaurants are living, breathing, vibrating consciousness buildings of love, abundance, creativity, immortality, and well-being. When you walk into McDonald's, just know you are in a vortex of unconditional love.
You have got to be
Was that the end of the clip?
kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. McDonald's.
So he's talking
Did
about
he get a corporate sponsor to say that?
That's move over,
That
Jared.
is insane.
Oh wait, Jared. Never mind.
No, yeah, move over, Jared. Move so far over into that prison cell over there and
Isn't
just
that
stay there.
hilarious though? He's like that he's written into his doctrine to justify to like form because that's exactly what just states this is all bullshit. Well, I kind of wrap this into it.
No water, but a Diet Coke. Yes, Diet Coke. It's a very good Coke.
Don't consume anything other than
It's my favorite Coke. You know, a lot of people talk about
why
the
is
regular
Trump
Coke.
here? Trump,
because he loves Diet Coke.
leave your just have some time to
Sorry,
yourself, okay, Trump?
I don't remember you having a bell on your desk to get Diet Coke into the Oval Office. Oh, there's my Coke. I'll be out of here. Anyway.
Okay, then.
But no, hang on.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No water. Diet Coke, the best. And processed meat in bread with, I don't even think it's real lettuce or real onions or real condiments. I don't know what kind of,
But it's
I don't know
made
what they
with
put
love. It's vibrating. It's a vortex of unconditional love.
It might have been made with
It's
love
a
one point in the
spiritual
50s when there was 2
experience.
stores of McDonald's. But you know what? No, it's
I
not.
love that. That's great.
That was the most batshit.
Otherwise known as just sugar addiction.
Meanwhile, the Burger King is just sitting over there going, am I a joke to you? Am I a fucking joke to you? You have got to be. I want to wrap this up because it's hurting my head.
Okay,
so
we're wrapping it up.
Please, with your
okay,
Brits
so
bits, wrap them up.
If you want to know what a level 4 is, level
God,
4
do I?
is when I manifest the pranic state and no longer consume solid or liquid foods. The state has to be stable for at least 4 months. And the way I like to wrap it up is when I was reading these levels, it reminded me of a little clip from The Simpsons. If you'd like to play that last clip just to wrap things up.
All right. I would love to play that last clip to cover it up. I just got off that for a second.
Last clip there, little reference to The Simpsons.
Let me find it. We are having technical problems. Okay, a clip from The Simpsons. Oh, please be a good one. Please be one I know.
Of
The
course you'll know
Simpsons,
it.
summing everything up.
Earth is the best. That's why I'm a vegetarian.
Well, that's a start.
Very good.
I was thinking of going vegan.
I'm a level 5 vegan. I won't eat anything that casts a shadow.
There you go.
Yes, that's
Simpsons
quite
did it
apt.
first. I'm just kidding.
Yes, very true. The Simpsons did indeed do it first. The Simpsons always seem to do it first, and that was a very interesting walk down a very terrifying lane of
The world is full
horrors.
of crazy people, Josh.
Yeah, and
I think
I'm beginning to think I'm actually not one of them.
do whatever what makes you feel good, but this is actually harming people that really make an actual attempt at trying to do this.
Phenomenal.
So yeah, please don't put shotguns in babies' hands or whatever the fuck she said. Because it's too dangerous. It's a powerful thing we could have, but it's just too dangerous. We're not ready for this. Actually, I just need money so I can actually pay my bills and still live in this home.
Well, Brittany, that was quite enlightening, and thank you very much for your Brit Bits.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And now we play you out. No, get up and leave. I'm doing the rest of the show by myself. No, of course not. Of course.
Actually, that kind of lines up kind of this culty movement with that music from
culty movements. Well, speaking of culty movements, I mean, they usually are in the news, but I think we actually only have one real story even close to the cult
Yeah, how about
tonight.
you tie it into the candle explosion? Because I think this kind of translates into something like a hoax, like Goop. Don't you think?
Now, why did you say Goop like Trump? Damn it, Trump. Goop! Come on, get out of here. Back to Mar-a-Lago. Okay, I'm going. I'm going.
How else do you say that word?
It's better. My house in Mar-a-Lago is much better anyway. It's much better. It's a much better place.
Trump,
bigger, huge.
Go home.
All right. I'm going.
Where is he? Florida right now?
Yeah, probably.
Just
stay in Florida, sir. Stay in Florida.
Okay.
All right. Now we're going to move on to a section we call Pressing the Presses, where we take some of the most interesting parts of the news during the week. In this case, actually, this week. And we are going to take a look a little closer and maybe have a little bit of fun. The first one, obviously, is... Let's tie that into the candle. Speaking of freaking lunatics and their health is good for you.
Health is good for you. I mean, that's a really dumb
No,
statement.
that actually sounds like something that they could say in all earnestness, and people would be too stupid
they do
not to realize. They usually say the most stupid things in the most earnest way.
You're not,
and you buy it. You buy it
really
hook, line, and sinker.
You're not really giving a good example, but like it's kind of like the bullshit that's like just pseudoscience and pseudo health. They're like where it's just like, and you realize they're just talking around in circles. So they could be like the kind of people that are like, really, like I'm just here to inspire you to be inspired.
Ladies and gentlemen,
like just stuff like that.
I just want to tell you all that health is good. Thank you. Thank you all for being a part of my health. Gwyneth Paltrow's candles. We spoke about this back when they first came out, I believe.
That was like a trial episode.
Yeah.
We never. That was like a little test episode.
Gwyneth has come up a couple of times with us, but of course Gwyneth had a candle called "Smells Like My Vagina." That's the actual name of the candle. I believe it's a $75 freaking candle. Well.
Yankee Candle,
eat your heart out and, open a window. But yeah, apparently one of her candles exploded in a London home.
What was it, a fucking firecracker?
Basically turned into an IED. It blew up in a woman's living room. I don't know why she wanted her living room to smell like, a fishmonger's.
It doesn't smell like a vagina. It's like the essence of like femininity
or something
like that.
Well, then it's a lie. It's a lie.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't smell like a vagina. It's like literally. I think they broke down like what it's like has like lavender and roses and. No,
Gwyneth Paltrow doesn't smell like that. She smells like.
It's just
old age and desperation.
It was a good marketing thing to get people to talk about it. It's like it's one of those things where like it's almost like I can't tell if like they're just trolls.
Probably.
It's just trolling people. It's working.
Well,
People
apparently
are
it
still
is.
buying her shit.
And I don't know what kind of people are buying, especially when it's going to burn down your freaking house.
And half of it as like ironic purchases, I'm sure, or like ironically.
I think so, but I mean, according to the story, it basically she lit it, she stood back, looked at it admiringly, and then it just suddenly exploded, throwing hot wax onto the drapery. The home drapery, not her drapery that smells like a candle. Anyway,
why was I thinking of a bushfire too when you said that?
Yes, a bushfire. My God, a bushfire and a drape fire.
People don't know that, but it was actually one of Gwyneth Paltrow's Gwyneth Paltrow's candles that started that fire in Australia.
Oh, jeez, yeah,
in
probably,
2020,
yeah.
So
she was airdropping them in with a goop plane.
She's like, the koalas will love this. The natives, the aborigines will just love this.
Well, goop is an absolute travesty in my opinion. I mean, I really actually want to sit down. I want to sit down and watch that show.
Goop Lab?
Goop Lab, yeah. And they're all just.
I mean, the name alone.
Yeah, I mean, do you ever look at these people and whenever Gwyneth's talking, they all have these smiles like the Third Reich, like Hitler was walking through. The first one to stop smiling gets the bullets in the head. It's like the first one. They all look terrified, and it's like, oh, Gwyneth, you're so this and you're that.
No,
and it's like
it's that women when
you're
women,
mental.
It's like when those women interact, it always makes me think of, and it's like a reason why me as a woman am terrified of other women, because I think of
Yes.
I think of that Family Guy episode, that scene where they're like, oh, I'm being so bad. Oh, you're being so. Let's get.
Oh, and they
dessert.
start eating
and
each
then
other.
They just start, and then they start just ripping each other's faces off.
Yes,
like
very true.
Like a ravenous ape.
Now, moving on with the next news story, of course. Speaking of the former ex-president
Can we
Donald
please turn
Trump,
the music down?
I
It's
can
loud
turn it
in my
down here.
ears. I don't know if it's going to sound good on the
sounds
final.
perfectly fine to me.
No, I can't hear myself, but that's okay.
There you go. I can hear it perfectly fine. I'm good, and I can check the waveforms to make sure that.
Don't want to hear the music. That's
Well,
the thing.
it's playing, so I'm going to turn you down just a little. But yeah. So I mean, of course, our speaking of our outgoing president, Mr. Donald Trump, apparently,
I
Joe.
didn't see this in the show notes. Why are you bringing up? Oh, sorry.
Well, yeah, Joe Exotic apparently thought he was about to be pardoned by outgoing President Trump. So much so that he had prepared a send-off party from his prison, where I think he's currently serving 22 years. But he had prepared a send-off party from prison, complete with a limo and a hair and makeup stylist.
That's great.
And yes, and I think I can find.
What a total nutcase. You know what's funny? I actually heard a quote from somebody that described Joe Exotic's political views as, I don't know, he's like, you can't really put him in a category. Like, I mean, he claimed to be a libertarian, but honestly, he's like Trump on meth.
I think I just think Joe Exotic is a mental patient.
No, he's a total nutcase. In fact, I mean, it is. I mean, we don't have time to go into it, but I ended up listening to a 6-part podcast going over it because I couldn't sit down and face watching how everybody kicked off.
There's a picture of the limo. Look at that thing. Oh my God.
Wait, how did he arrange that? He just
I mean,
had people
obviously,
outside.
yeah, he was expecting
Joe
a pardon.
Exotic. What a fucking nutcase. This is the thing, is like the Joe Exotic story is like, it's just legendary. I mean, I didn't realize, I mean, it was a process that took like 9 or 10 years.
Why did he think he was going to get pardoned?
He's a total nutcase.
I think people were getting close to him and told him, you know what, President Trump is outgoing now and he's going to pardon you. There's no way you're not going to be on the list.
Well, he's completely delusional.
Well, you know what, Joe?
He's a pathological liar.
You know what, Joe? If I'm not going to pardon Julian Assange
He's
or
done so
Edward
many
Snowden,
heinous
what makes you
things.
think I'm going to pardon a pussy parade person like you?
Pussy parade.
I don't like what you did to the cats. I'm not a dog person, but I do love the big cats. I love pussy. I love to grab them. And now I'm gonna go back to Mar-a-Lago, and I'm gonna, I'm not gonna do anything with you, Joe. I'm just gonna go back and live the good life. You enjoy prison. I'll be long dead by the time you get out.
God, I hate your Trump.
Thank you. Everybody does. Next news story. We're kind of blasting through this. I love that
hate
limousine.
blasting through these.
Love that limousine, by the way. Do you think he was just going around the prison like an asshole? I'm getting pardoned. You asshole! What are you gonna do to me, huh? I'm getting pardoned. Next day. But why? Why? Because you're an asshole. But I have a limo and a stylist. I mean, look at a picture of him. He needs a goddamn stylist. I love the fact that to me is just so funny. I love it. I love everything about it. Now, next moves. We're going to move on.
Great.
Why? Did you have something more to say about it?
No, I just don't know.
Okay, then don't say great like that.
on?
Jeez. Next story. Of course, Oklahoma.
Well, yeah, Joe Exotic's not the only crazy thing to come out of Oklahoma. You have something, a lawmaker in Oklahoma wants to do what?
Yes, in Oklahoma. And let's just read this headline as it is, because this is actually a breaking story as of today. Oklahoma representative introduces bill to create Bigfoot hunting season. Because...
No, I've heard of this, actually. It's called hunting for snipes. Did you ever do that when you were a kid?
Snipes? Is that what you call Bigfoot out here?
Snipes or snapes or something like that?
Snapes.
Snipes.
Harry Potter.
No, it was something, it's like a...
Don't hunt me, Harry.
It's kind of like a... maybe it's an
A
American
bird.
thing, but But yeah, no, it's an American. It's something like when I was camping, when I was a little kid camping.
A snipe hunting. I've heard of that.
With my church youth group, it was like the older like I was taken as when we were 12. We were brand new to the camp. That was our first year at camp. So the 4th year girls would come and like take us on a snipe hunt. Ooh. And then by the time we were their age, we did the same thing. And it's like, yeah, it's like where you go at night and you like, yeah, you just trick campers. It's just a funny little camp prank.
I know that from Cheers.
Camp prank. So yeah, it's a common thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
pastime.
This is a pastime and a common thing. Apparently, going to go into law. An Oklahoma lawmaker has pitched a bill to create a bona fide Bigfoot hunting season in the Sooner State. Sooner State? Really? That's what you call it? On Wednesday, Representative Justin Humphrey introduced House Bill 1648, urging the Oklahoma Wildlife Conservation Commission, OWCC, to establish a Bigfoot hunting season. How did this guy get elected exactly? By the way, I love the picture they use of Bigfoot here. It is literally the worst
I know Bigfoot isn't real.
Picture I've ever seen.
Clearly.
Don't you think we would have found some evidence at this point?
Well, okay.
I can understand the Pacific Northwest, but Oklahoma?
Well, yeah,
there's a rainforest in the Pacific Northwest. I understand there's
rainforest. That's not how you describe it.
No, it is a rainforest in the Pacific Northwest. Yes, there's a gigantic rainforest up there. I can understand that because there are some impenetrable parts of those woodlands. I can understand that, but in Oklahoma, I think you're going to find a Bigfoot. At least find some bones. You're going to find anything of a Sasquatch.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I like, haven't you heard, like, around the famous picture, then the fucking, there's like a guy who like invented the Bigfoot. Like he has molds of like him putting the footprints in there. Like and then like there's only one convincing thing that I heard that's like kind of like ooh, like kind of like fun to listen to, but it's not like I really believe it. But there is that 911. Have you ever heard that 911 call of that guy? He doesn't say Bigfoot in it, but he's like describing a Bigfoot. Like, it's very convincing. It's a 911 emergency call where he's like, there's like this big tall, like,
there's like this big footed animal.
And he's like describing what would look like an
Don't talk about my daughter like that. Poor
you're not on 98 KUPD,
I know,
okay?
but
stop.
I mean, that was fun. But
nobody knows what's fun.
Anyway, no, I've never actually seen that. We'll look that up another time. I want to see that though, or hear it. I want to hear it and see if it's worth it.
I'm pretty sure you've heard it.
Maybe I have. I don't know. But let's see. The Oklahoma Wildlife Conservation Commission shall promulgate rules establishing a Bigfoot hunting season, the most unnecessary season aside from leprechauns.
Sounds like just another excuse for rednecks to go out with guns and beer.
I'm here to bag me a big feet.
Have you watched those stupid like Bigfoot files like on like Animal Planet and shit?
They're hilarious.
Junk.
They're
TV.
hilarious. Unbelievably funny. I'm here to bag me a big feet. Are you? Really? I heard I can. All right, off you go. Enjoy 2 weeks in the wilderness with nothing to show for it. You'll see. You'll see. They all say that. When they go out hunting Bigfoot, you know what they say. You'll see. And then we do see nothing. You bring nothing home except maybe a fake casting of something.
Yeah, it's like the same thing as like ghost adventure, whatever shit shows, or like paranormal shows where they're like, we went to blah, blah, blah.
Well, it can't be any worse than leprechaun hunting season in Ireland. I mean, that's a big season for us.
Nobody actually believes in leprechauns.
No, leprechauns are real, and we do hunt them. It's fantastic, and we even have a mayor who wears
very tasty.
We have a mayor who wears I declare leprechaun hunting season open. I'm a mayor. We've got to bring in those summer dollars, and the only way we can do that is kill all the leprechauns and bring in their pots of gold.
Why does a mayor in Ireland sound like?
It's Mayor Larry Vaughan. He needed better work after two disastrous stints on Amity Island. He had to go leprechaun hunting for goodwill in Ireland. Anyway, that was pressing the presses, and Now we are going to move on.
Well, I feel pressed for time now.
We are pressed for time, Brittany, but we are going to move on very quickly to
I really thought we were going to cover maybe one story out of Pricing the Press, but you just wanted to blast right through that. Wow.
Actually, you know what? We're not actually going to get to That's Entertainment tonight, but what we are going to see here, Brittany, I do, as you might have noticed today, I've gotten on Instagram. And
for like the fourth time.
For like the fourth time, but now I realize there's these things on it, and
if your Instagram accounts were your children, you would be convicted and in prison right now.
I'd be like Sean Connery. I wouldn't know how many children I actually have. No, why wouldn't I? Why? Oh wait, was it Sean? No, Clint Eastwood has an undetermined amount of children.
Really?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh shit!
I don't know who my kids are.
I did not know that.
It's all good though. The will's all going to me.
I love that Clint Eastwood just wrote his will. It's for me. But anyway, the reason I got on it is because of stuff like this. This is from the Instagram page, Girls Getting Hurt.
Or is that a chemical paste? What the fuck?
No, this is what
a
happens.
Chemical peel, I mean.
This is what happens when the kid is stupid enough to eat crayons in class. They realize that crayons not only can be used as food, but as a good skin care solution.
Chemical peel. Okay, so it looks like she's got like a fruit roll up on her face, but it's melted crayons.
Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, if I heard that in real life, I'd be shocked. Hurt. Oh, but no, it's hot molten crayon.
No, it's obviously dried and cooled now.
No, I would say it was burning her to hell.
No, I think she's just a pussy. Okay.
Oh, Brittany. Okay, let's get some crayons. Let's get the crayons that you haven't eaten so far, and let's put them on your face. And I think
you know what crayons are actually useful for. If you're gonna let anybody eat it,
a quick snack.
Say you have like 2 dogs, right? And one of them has diarrhea, but you need to determine which dog has the diarrhea. Go ahead, and this is vet approved. Go ahead and do a little bit of shaving, like using a cheese grater into both of their food. And then you can determine whose shit, if it has crayon coloring in it, which dog it was.
That makes sense. Okay.
Wait, wouldn't that mean you'd have to see the dog shit?
Well, you'd have to. Well,
I don't know. It's something along those lines.
Any good person would clean up after its dog. I mean, like, it's not like the shit just kind of disappears into the ground. You are going to clean it up, unless you're a terrible, terrible pet opener.
I want to put some crayon shavings in my poop and see if I can get like little swirly colors in my poop.
I mean, why don't you just... Okay, instead of doing it to you, why don't you just do it to the cat?
Yeah, let's do it to the cat and find little presents in the litter box.
Oh, God. Speaking of that litter box, I probably have to go clean it out. But, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is actually going to do us for this show, the second show of 2021. And now that I'm getting over my crippling anxiety that Brittany wants to ignore and talk about her love affair with Tony Curtis, or whatever his name is. Was it Tony Curtis? What's his name?
I was not talking about
Cary
what
Grant.
I was saying. Your accent
Tony Curtis?
is like fabricated, like how Cary Grant's accent was fabricated.
Our love is fabricated like a Fabergé egg.
Such a difficult time following my thread sometimes.
All right.
God damn, you're retarded.
By the way, who's Tony Curtis? Do we know who Tony Curtis is?
Tony Curtis is Automobile.
Automobile.
Tony Curtis was like in like what's that with Natalie Wood and with Marilyn Monroe and Some Like It Hot. That's Tony Curtis.
Who's Cary Grant? Wait a minute. I thought Tony Curtis was Cary Grant.
Tony Curtis does a Cary Grant type of impersonation in his film Some Like It Hot, and there's the whole joke where Jack Lemmon's like, nobody talks like that. What kind of accent is that?
I fucked that up.
Yeah, you fucking bastard.
All right. So I'm the Great Race. Let's just put it that way. The Great Race. Tony Curtis is the Great Racer.
He got really weird in his later years. Like he wore like muumuus and was like bald and like.
Yeah, didn't I hear he
and like wore makeups?
Yeah, I think he had to wear like I have heard that he would have to wear a length of rope around his waist to stop his asshole from prolapsing. I believe I heard that from Artie Lang on the Anthony Cumia show, but I could be wrong. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to the West of Waterford
I'm sorry.
podcast.
Gay doesn't necessarily mean if a man wears makeup, it doesn't mean he's gay.
No. I'm not saying he was gay.
That sounds very insensitive.
Maybe he likes stuffing things up there. That's all. thank you very much for listening to the West of Waterford
Cucumbers?
podcast. And yes,
Beer
Brittany.
bottles?
Yes, Brittany.
Microphones?
Yes,
That one in
Brittany.
particular?
Yes, Brittany. I'm going to turn your mic off, Brittany.
Gerbils?
Brittany, going to turn your mic off.
Light bulbs?
Shut up.
Butt plug! Butt plug!
What kind of plug?
Butt plug!
Butt plugs. Butt plugs.
Those plugs?
Butt plugs.
Oh.
Butt plug.
What kind of plug?
Plug.
Okay, go ahead and take something
Those
and
kind of
just,
plugs.
like literally shove it up my ass more than you have to.
All right.
Butt plug.
Really, I do hope that most of our audience is deaf. That's the only way they're gonna get through this.
Well, I was trying to hit the mark here, but you wouldn't stop interrupting me, so...
You can never let me have the last word, motherfucker.
It's not your job to have the last word. It's the job of the host, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much
Of
for
the
listening.
man.
If you got through this... Yeah. That's all I got. If you got through this...
We're done. Bye.
Yeah. Okay. Good night, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you on the next episode where we'll have some more fun. Don't worry, and we'll
Just
have some
cut it
more
off
weird
like-
and wonderful
like a
stories
piece
for
of
you.
poop.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Good night. Bye.